How's the lighting? Is the lighting all right, or do I need to change this?
It's hard for me to tell from here.
I can't tell either. What do you think, Eddie? Does it look all right?
I always have a hard time to.
Are we live?
Yeah.
That's what
Yay!
people are watching us now?
Howdy doody.
Hello.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody.
It's howdy doody time.
No, it's shenanigans time.
So wait, I think I just broke some sort of copyright law saying howdy doody time.
Oh, see, shenanigans time.
Some mad puppet's gonna come after me.
They
You stole my line.
They will. So what did you do this week?
Is anybody watching?
Oh, do we have to wait for people to sign in? We have live audience members watching.
I know my audience is
We're
wondering.
trying to get on.
I was just wondering if we have anybody watching.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to Shenanigans with Brent and Becky.
Say howdy. Say howdy.
Yeah, can we get a high? Yeah, I don't know if there's. I think we're flying solo. Of course, I didn't do the pre-show show today.
Yeah.
I totally spaced on that.
Uh-huh.
But we're gonna simulcast to Facebook next week just to see if that helps. What was that on Facebook?
I don't know. Sounds
Yeah,
scary.
I'm trying to get. I'm
It
out of my
sounds
groove
scary
today.
to me. But
All right.
okay. Well, we gotta go anyway,
Yeah,
right?
we gotta get going. So I'm trying to think. What was I gonna say? Shop news. I didn't even write notes for shop
No,
news.
I said, what did you do this week?
Okay. But I told you about my bobblehead scooter I'm making, right?
Yeah.
I got the fairing mounted.
The ferret.
The front is
The front is called a ferret.
a fairing.
A fairing.
A fairing.
Okay.
I got it mounted. It looks pretty sweet.
Did no pictures of it?
I'm holding off.
Okay.
I'm gonna have
Alright,
pictures.
you don't want to disappoint
I have
us?
pictures. Well, here's the problem. What color am I gonna paint it? See, that's what I'm struggling with now.
I don't know.
Do I keep it black?
Yeah.
I'm thinking yellow. I want this just this bright lemon yellow is what I'm thinking.
Oh, that would be neat. Like a bumblebee.
Yeah, we could put stripes on it.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of work.
Oh, well.
I just want to hit it some spray paint.
A lot of work.
What else did I do? Oh, we had a yard sale.
Oh, I hate yard sales. There's so much
Okay.
work.
We heard some.
Everybody wants everything for nothing. So just
Yes.
stick it out and put a free sign out there.
And I
it's
was
over
like,
and done with.
I'm like, yard sales, so much work. But
Yes.
apparently, I did not know this. Sarah loves yard sales.
Oh.
She was super excited about putting the signs out, getting everything set up. She was like
Oh.
thinking it was going to be fun.
Oh.
I'm like, okay.
Well, as long as she thinks it's fun, I guess
Yeah,
it's
she-
fun.
But I mean, you were around for Memorial Day, Sunday. To understand how it went, I had a heater going in the garage.
Yeah.
As we sat there and tried to sell things,
very
it was
yucky.
cold.
It was yucky. People, yeah.
Yeah,
Did you still do okay?
I think $100.
See, I was not getting do it.
But it was fun. We got to hang out.
Well,
We drank hot chocolate.
yeah.
Had quality time together. It was very
Okay.
exciting.
All right.
That's my excitement for the
All
weekend.
right. Well, and I know I told you the story, but I gotta tell it again.
Yeah, but
I-
guess what Eddie has for that story?
I had a very exciting another golf victory.
Mm-hmm.
And this I don't want to turn this into a golf show, but this is very exciting.
And Brian stopped by and let us.
How'd you find that photo? That was my photo.
Brian came by and was like, "You got to put this
I
out there."
can't believe you brought that in. Oh, yes, the guy was laughing so hard when I was posing. They're like, no, and I go, no, I am posing. Boo, boo. Yes. Oh, so there was a hole, closest to the hole competition on a par 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got on the green,
Yeah.
which is a big deal for me. So we get up there, and there was a man's thing and a woman's thing, and the men had names on it, meaning they thought they were closest to the hole, but the women's thing was empty. And Brian was closer than me, then it was a scramble, so he goes to pick up my ball, because he's like, we're going to use, his was far away too. We're going to use his ball, because it's closer. I go, whoa! We got to measure that first. And he goes, well, Becky, the tape measure's only 25 feet long. You're further away than that. And I said,
You want to say it, don't you, Danny?
I said,
That it's only 25 feet long. You want to say it.
Long.
I'm gonna behave.
I said, then we will measure it more than once. So we can. No one else has written it down. So I make them stop, and I measure 50 feet 1 inches, and everybody's like, oh. I'm like, you never know. Well, the next day we get a call. Guess who won the closest to the pin for the ladies?
I'm just guessing because nobody else measured it.
Or she was the only lady.
No, it's because you got close to the pin. You're the best golfer there ever was.
It's very hard to get on the green.
Oh, I know.
This was not an easy hole. So anyway.
Was it a big green or a little green? Because sometimes they
It
have
was
like,
a big green.
they still have those
but it was
greens.
a sloping green.
Don't choke over there.
It was a sloping green.
A sloping
So the
green.
ball would get on and roll off, but mine didn't.
Oh,
Mine stayed.
Stayed. I got you.
So anyway, then, okay guys, I need to know how to get rid of snakes. I had, for the 3rd year in a row, I have a milk snake. Do you know what a milk snake looks like?
Yeah, they're pretty
They
gross.
are disgusting looking.
They're just
They
snakes.
look like they should be poisonous, and when they get big, they get like this big around. And for the 3rd year in a row, I got a nest of them underneath my pool shed. And the mama is huge, and all the babies are like,
Get yourself a mongoose.
do they eat chickens?
I don't know. I just remember that story, Ricky Tikki Tavi as a kid. The little Ricky Tikki Tavi and the
So
mongoose.
disgusting.
Right?
It's so
Do
disgusting.
you remember the story, Ricky Tikki Tavi?
No. No, I don't.
Do you have cats?
I don't have cats.
Okay, see, my cats catch the snakes, and then the dogs grab them and they throw them around.
My
until
dogs
they're
are too
dead.
little to
Okay.
throw these snakes.
Okay.
These
Bigger
snakes would
dogs.
eat my
This
dogs.
is what we did once as children.
They would eat my dogs.
When we were
Three
kids,
bigger dogs.
when we were kids, we got our hands on a snake. Now we would probably be locked up.
Gosh,
For,
if we go down Snake Alley.
I'd probably be like getting counseling for being a serial killer for this story if it happened in today's day and age. So we got a snake, and well, we were on a farm with an electric fence, and the cow fence isn't that good. You know, you could pee on the cow fence and give you a little bit of a shock.
It just isn't.
The sheep fence, on the other hand,
Because
totally different story. And we wrapped a couple coils of wire around the snake we found, and hooked him to the fence.
okay,
Oh, you are.
Straightened him right out. It was crazy.
That is not okay.
I realized this. I mean, we were
okay,
kids.
enough of that. All right.
But I'm thinking if you did that today, you'd be like,
They'd put you away.
I
I
had
know.
snakes under my pool shed, and now I have bats in my attic.
Oh, no.
Bats,
Yeah, but they fly
Well,
out
the
every
worms
night.
in the pool?
like six of them. So the guy gives me a quote to close up all the holes that are coming in, and it's like too much. It's a lot of money. And I said, what happens if I just let 6 bats live in my attic? And he goes, well, pretty soon you'll have 100 bats living in your attic. I said, why? Because they go out and tell all the neighbors, hey, there's a nice attic available.
but wasn't that like a thing that happened like back in the day? Some government project where they bought a bat cave full of bat poop for some sort of
Oh, God.
energy project? Yeah, the guano
Build
cave.
build some bat houses for you.
Apparently they like my bat house. Apparently they like the one we have.
Well, maybe.
But
he should
anywho.
make
Well, it's because they have all their
nicer
friends, the
ones.
snakes and everything else.
Yeah, I asked if they snakes would eat the bats or vice versa, and apparently they don't. Snakes don't eat bats, and bats don't
Well,
eat snakes.
well, because the
But
snakes.
the bats eat mosquitoes.
But if the
So
snake,
you'd
it was,
be
I don't-
swimming at night.
No, I don't want bats, and I don't want snakes. Ah! Okay, all right, now,
need a
woo,
cat.
goosebumps. Shop news. Let's
um,
do some shop news. We got
I don't know
some.
if I got any shop news.
Of
Do we have
course
shop
we
news?
have shop news. It's officially June. See, I have to help you.
Oh yes, it's June,
It's
so the
officially June,
so we can sell these now.
these lovely onesies come with a
Give
free
us the.
design now because we are officially in June. So you can get your little onesies and your free
And the free
Give me
pattern, yes.
Creamy
So
design.
if you buy the onesie, you get the pattern for free.
Yeah, so that's pretty
Yay!
cool.
See, you get a little small fry pattern,
They should give a big fry one
big
too.
fry.
Yeah.
Yeah, because who gets a small fry? Most people get a large
Small
fry.
and a large fry. Yeah. Okay. The other thing is because it's now official.
Useless information.
Again.
McDonald's
Again.
McDonald's French fries are not vegan because they're cooked in animal fat, whereas Burger King and Wendy's are vegan.
Really?
Yeah, just
I like Wendy's better.
just throwing that out there.
The other thing is the Bella box was released today for those Bellas and fellas out there.
Bellas and fellas.
Bellas and fellas, it went on sale today.
Is
so,
there guys that get Bella boxes?
Oh, there is men in the. That's why it's called Bellas and fellas.
Okay.
I- don't
Some
know.
men like to
How
quilt,
many
too.
fellas?
I'm not.
But
I get it. I like the
fellas.
quilt and stuff too, but I mean, on the weekends, I want to go shoot things and blow things
Yeah,
up.
well,
not-
I got some snakes for you. I got some snakes for you. The other thing is, Kimberbell announced 2 new things this week. They announced, see how up to date he is on everything?
I count on
people?
Jocelyn. If Jocelyn's watching, she's usually the one that yells at me to
They
get
announced, I think they might announce this last week even though, a new CD, Home for the Holidays,
things.
that's coming out soon, and it's gonna have another Christmas stocking and a pillow and a cute mug rug,
I think my mom was
actually.
asking me about that.
I see
That
it,
she wants
so-
me to buy it so that I'll give her one.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's how that works.
Okay, well that's gonna be released, and they're coming out with another pillow, another bench pillow.
Okay, are pillows
Candy
that
cane lane.
are bench pillows that popular?
Okay, this is my tip. Well, no, it isn't really the official tip,
But-
but there is a YouTuber called Molly Jolly. Molly Jolly. I was gonna play a little bit tonight, but I'm not that organized. Molly Jolly walks you through taking the bench pillow into a wall hanging.
Okay. Okay, wall hangings I kind of get. But bench
Which
pillows,
isn't that difficult, because she just does it 3x3.
yeah, but
It's
bench
not-
pillows are kind of
not a
like
big deal.
center displays for your table that seem useless to me because you got to move them anytime you actually want to use
Oh
the
my
furniture it's
God,
on.
have a fry. I don't know what you got
I'm
into
just
today.
saying, bench
You
pillows.
got into something today. Oh my goodness. Hey, we got some gifts to give out today.
Will this fit?
You're gonna
Uh,
ruin that. You just get no, because
You know who would
you are
fit
not
it?
a small fry.
Is do you think this would fit Arnell? Or Arnell's kind of big, isn't he?
Yeah, I know,
Oh,
it's too big.
okay. Have you met Arnell?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so anyway.
He's Mercy's kid.
Oh,
the-
then I
the-
have
yeah,
met
the
the
little
little
baby,
tiger.
yeah.
That doesn't kind of fit.
I just
That
realized
kid's
it,
running
yeah.
around all over the place.
And it's just 9 to 12 months and he's 2 years. Okay, so never mind. Okay.
2-year-olds don't wear onesies.
Adults would wear onesies if they
They
could,
could,
if
I
they
know,
fit.
I
mean,
know.
so
Okay, I want to shout out to Carolyn.
yes.
Carolyn gave me a great idea last week after the show. So I want to share it with the crew. She piggybacked and embellished on the idea when I was talking about the envelopes, the clear envelopes. No, that's another person. Sorry, Carolyn. She piggybacked on the idea where I was talking about wrapping the material on the magazine boards.
Yes.
She took it up a notch. She said, I'll stick a label on them, Becky. It tells me how much yardage is on that board. So I know quickly with looking how much yardage is on that board. I don't have to unroll it. If I'm looking for 2 yards and it's not 2 yards, I know not to bother with it. And then she said, if I've pre-treated it, I put that on my label too, Danny, because some people like to do their treatment
Yeah.
and then put it on the board. She even labels that she treated it. So she has her yardage on it and whether she's treated it or not. So I thought that was a
Oh,
good,
neat idea.
very neat idea. Taking it up
It
a notch.
is.
$10 GC to
Yes,
Caroline!
absolutely.
Woo!
So I
Love
kinda-
the input. It was,
I was
it
over
was a
visit-
great idea.
I was over visiting my cousin yesterday, picking up some parts for my scooter because he's a motor. He actually does motors. He's like a real man. He does motorcycles where I play with scooters. And he's hooking me up with some parts. And I'm in his garage, and he's like organized.
Yeah.
You ever understand? My garage is just like a mess.
Yeah, we know.
And I say to him, Steve, I'm like,
You don't have to be there.
I'm like, Steve, you're super organized because this reminds me of like putting labels on your stuff.
Yeah.
Go and buy it.
And he's like, yeah, I sometimes spend more time organizing my tools than working on my bikes.
Yeah, because it's just
And that's
fun.
kind of what I'm thinking with the labels. It's like it's a great idea, but I would never do it.
Well, you know when you're winding it up, and
I
then
know,
if you
but I
use
would
a
never
half a
do it.
yard, you just can go like this, and mine is half a yard, and you've got
I-
it right there.
It's a fantastic idea. I just know that
I love
I would
it.
never do it.
I love it. I love it.
I love the idea.
Okay, now I want another shout out.
Oh, we're gonna do another shout out?
Oh yeah,
We're gonna
I
do
want to
this-
do a
yes.
shout out to Sue Lewis, right?
Yes.
Did I get it right? Okay, I was talking about how you could take regular fabric and do neat borders around it, and use piece borders. And look what Sue Lewis did, right?
And look at
I
those
did-
fantastic cats in the middle.
I did a challenge shout out for the kitty cat fabric, and Sue, this is wonderful.
I don't, are,
Such
the,
a happy quilt.
are the colors coming through on the monitor, Eddie?
I hope so.
Because this is super bright and
It's-
fantastic.
It is. It's so happy. It's a happy quilt. I love it. So Sue, $10 GC.
No, no,
Oh no, that's right.
no,
That's
we're not
right.
giving her a gift certificate? No.
No, we're not.
No,
Sorry.
you
I
haven't
take
earned
it back.
it. No.
I take it back. No, you can't have
You
it.
can't have the gift
I
certificate.
gave it to Carolyn and we're done.
Yes. No, what we're gonna do for you, Sue, is this is gonna be quilted for free. So,
We're quilting this
yeah.
challenge quilt for
Yeah.
free.
Yeah, it's getting quilted for free.
So,
Because it was that
yay,
awesome.
Sue! Thank you. Thank you for coming in and showing up the kitty cat thing.
Yeah, the quick
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So those are our big shout outs. But you know, before we get into tonight's good stuff, should we do quiz? Because we're still giving stuff
Are we
away.
talking about borders tonight? Or are we done with borders?
No, we're going to talk a little bit about
Okay, because
borders.
I wanted to talk about that quilt with the
Me
borders.
too, but I want to do quiz time
Quiz
first because
time.
we're giving stuff away.
Okay, we'll give us stuff away. So quiz time.
Quiz time.
Quiz time.
Quiz time. One question, because Becky can only stand so much. One question, and first one who gets it right,
$10 GC.
$10 GC.
Woo!
We talked about borders last week. We're going to talk some more about borders a little
Yes.
bit this week. But last week I talked about putting the side borders on and how we do that first. And I said, you want to measure the width of your quilt how many times before you determine the length of your side borders? First one to... Does that count?
What?
No.
Well, I'm torn
How
because
many-
you could, but you
how
got the
many
you got the
times-
lag. You got the
Yeah,
lag.
that's,
So
that's right. How many times? Oh, I almost did it. How many times did I say to measure the width of your quilt to help you determine? Not the width, the length of your quilt.
Well, you
See,
could
I
do-
did it backwards.
but
too
you
in
could do the
show.
length or the width the same amount of times.
No, we're talking about side borders though. It's true, you're doing the
Same
same,
amount,
same
yes.
right hand, but I only demonstrated for the side
Okay.
borders. So, how many times do you measure your quilt in the length of the quilt to determine the length of your side borders? Tick, 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 tick,
Tick, tick.
tick,
Where, do we have music,
tick,
Eddie?
tick,
Give us a
tick.
sound bite for this.
And there was a little thing that ensued
throw something in there.
regarding some mathematical equations, and I got schooled by Mom.
So I talked to my mom the day after, and she's like, "I tried Becky's borders. I hated it. I had to go back and take them off."
Why?
I don't know. That's all. That's as far as
Well,
I
that's
got.
not very good. I have to measure for my quilt
Oh.
here. Nobody?
Lewis is on.
Nobody?
I think we're gonna give it to Carolyn because she knew when we asked.
Sue Lewis has got.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
there they
there
come!
you go.
Sue's first!
Yeah, we'll
Sue's
give we'll
first.
give Deb too because that was kind of quick, kind of at the same time.
Oh my God, you were gonna go
They're both
bankrupt.
at 620.
They're both at
620. They're not at 420.
Not today.
Okay, so there we go. $10 GCs to Susan and Deb.
Yes.
3 times.
Yay.
3 times an average amount, right?
3. Yes.
Within a half an inch, you consider yourself good to go.
There's a joke my dad once told me. What do you call that?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
It was an Air Force joke.
Oh, probably shouldn't say.
Had something
Okay.
to do with officers.
Speaking of borders, let's stay on the border kick a little bit. And let's show the
Oh,
Barbie
yes.
thing before I go to Turbo Tip.
Okay. Now this is a quilt that I made.
Using a center panel.
There's a center panel.
Which goes in line with what we're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you got the panel.
Yeah,
Now you'll notice that then we did these pinwheels. Now,
which I love.
yeah, you got these nice pinwheels.
I love your pin.
Now, the thing about this is, you know how you measured everything and made all
Yeah.
this special stuff? I
Yeah.
didn't want to do math. So
I can tell.
So what we did is we just kind of roughed it in, found the center, went up, and then I just trimmed my borders because that's why the black
Yeah.
edge is here.
Yeah.
That's so we didn't have to figure out the math
Yeah.
on how many pinwheels you need.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you really want to cheat and
But-
not put any thought into it, that's the way to do
But
it.
you already knew you were having a sashing here.
Yeah.
So if you made your pinwheels and you needed to make up the difference between the pinwheels and here, you'd make it up in your sashing. The adjustment can just be in the sashing. You don't have to end up with a blank corner like
But it looks,
this.
it's modern.
Okay, all right. But does everyone understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you would
can
make-
piece your whole.
You could figure out what you needed by.
And then do this piece after
Yes.
after you've constructed your piece border. you can then measure and decide what you need the sashing.
The sashing to be so that your pinwheels go all the way
So your
around.
pinwheels go all
Yeah.
the way around, or at least end, somewhere, so
Close.
it's symmetrical.
It's
Size
kind of
differences.
symmetrical.
All right, well, it's a pretty little quilt,
Everybody
and I
loves
love
this
what you
quilt.
did on the back,
I'll keep her, she's my favorite.
Minky on the back.
You
It's,
know.
it's very nice, and I do like the pinwheels a lot.
And I think that was the technique where you make the squares and you sew the sides and chop them.
Well, you'll have to show them that some night.
Didn't you do that the other night?
No, I didn't do pinwheels.
Yeah, but it was that same idea that you had done.
Well, it was similar.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
we just
similar.
put it together different.
It's similar.
I
No,
just
we're
similar.
visual people in the quilting world.
Okay.
We like to see it. Okay, but, so, jumping off the last week, we were talking about these cool 3-yard books.
We just got a bunch of them in yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Please tell me you got this one in.
I think so. There's a couple that are back ordered still, so.
Ugh. Well, I had to borrow this one because you didn't have it in yet,
And there's a new one that she just came out with that came in.
Right.
Missouri Star, I'm not kidding, the next day, they're showing a 3-yard quilt made with Curious and Curious. And we had just showed Curious and Curious, and I just talked about the 3-yard book, and I went, oh my gosh, this is so bizarre, I have to go home and do that. So that got me thinking, well, first I'll show you my Curious and Curious, because it's very curious.
It is. I'm
It-
very impressed by it.
We got into fussy cutting. There's no borders on it yet. Becky still has to measure her borders.
You have to. Oh, that's why. If you didn't have to measure,
This
then that'd
is-
be on here.
This is a 3-yard quilt. Now granted, because I fussy cutted and this bunny comes out of the same fabric as Alice, these are fussy cut from the same fabric. See? This is,
Yeah.
see what this is? That's part of Alice. See?
Oh,
See? See?
yeah. Nice.
So what it made me reach out of my box a little bit, because I never would have thought of fussy cutting this,
No, I wouldn't
like
have either.
this.
But I think it looks
but it
fantastic.
looked really cool.
Yeah.
So it made me go out of my comfort zone a little bit, because I'm like, now if I had to do it again, I would have lowered Alice
Yeah.
so that this little
So
looked
she
more
said number
corner
one, yeah.
blocky like this did.
Yeah.
So if I have to do this again, which I'm not going to, I would even have caught on to that with Alice, but I hadn't caught on to it. But what I think is interesting is fussy cutting doesn't have to just be an exact thing. It can be just about centering things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to talk about fussy cutting today.
Ooh, fussy cutting.
I had to get 1.5 yards of Alice fabric to get enough bunnies, and I didn't even know there were bunnies in that fabric. But it's a bunny, and so instead of 1 yard, I needed 1.5 yards because I was fussy cutting
And
the
that's
big
gonna
blocks.
happen a lot. If you do have a pattern where you do want a fussy cut, keep that in mind. That
Get
a lot of
little
times
bit more.
you're gonna need extra depending on how you cut.
Yeah, and
And
this is
some patterns will actually recommend, fussy cutting, get X, Y, or Z. And sometimes it's a 1/2 yard, sometimes it's a whole yard. It really depends on what you're doing, how much extra to get.
well, this was stepping stones inside this book. The pattern is stepping stones, and I was able to count how many of each I needed. So you can open up the fabric and go, I need 12 bunnies, and I need 6 Alices,
Yeah.
and I can't collide with each other, because as you can see, the bunny is part of Alice,
yeah, so you
and
lose
Alice
it,
is part of
yeah.
the bunny. So you need them to be separate from each other when you cut it out.
Yeah.
So you can actually count out, if you know ahead of time what you're gonna fussy cut, how much you're gonna need. And 1.5 yards was more than enough. The other thing I wanted to say was this was a fun quilt to make. It's not hard at all. It was fun. And I laughed because it used strip quilting, which we've been talking about. It's like it used all the same techniques we've been talking about lately. Also wanted to show off the backing that we didn't really talk too much about last week. The wide backing that came in from Tula Pink.
Yes.
Feel this, Brent.
I know, it's free
Why?
spirit.
How do they do this? Because it's 100% cotton, but it feels different than this.
The gray goods might be different with a lot of, depending on, because it's 108.
Well,
they
this
make-
I've been, me,
Yeah.
have treated. This I have not treated, but it's softer. I'm thinking this needs to be a pillowcase.
Well, don't let me stop you.
Yeah, I'm thinking. And by the way, this is way out of my comfort zone, this kind of quilt. But my granddaughter, 9 years old, saw it, and can I have it? Alice has braces just like I do. I'm like, she does? And I'm like, oh my gosh, she does. She has braces
You didn't
on.
notice that? That's the
No,
first thing I
didn't-
noticed.
I didn't even notice that.
I
so
just thought
it's
it was
already got a home.
I just thought it was a really interesting take on Alice. That's why I really liked it.
I think it's cool. It's already got a home, and the question is, am I going to quilt it on a long arm, or am I going to get creative and practice with this?
With that quilt,
Yeah,
because you've got such clear blocks, I would do that.
I've got very clear blocks.
And they're not, and none of them are bigger than like 9.5 or 10
No,
inches,
they're
right?
7. I think
Yeah.
they're 7.5.
So yeah, so there you
Finished.
go. You
So
use your
see
luminaire.
this? See this
So
right
that,
here?
I'm
This is
thinking
what
that's
I'm thinking.
a couple episodes coming up right there.
See this right here? I'm thinking, and then I could get the border. I could get you. Use my new border thing in the
Yeah.
luminaire.
Mm-hmm. It would be very exciting.
See? Did everyone see this? I think I might have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I need practice on my long arm too. But it does lend itself very well to to the patterns in this book. Maybe Brenda will do it.
Maybe I'll do what?
Quilt
I'm
Alice.
thinking. We have to do a class on that again because there's a lot of interest in that. So I guess.
This
Yes,
is
we
not.
should.
This is not edge to edge. These are individual defined blocks, which I think.
Yeah, no,
is-
that's the way
I think
would.
it would be cool. Maybe.
Well, I think that the individual blocks are way easier to do on your embroidery machine than edge to edge, personally,
I agree.
because you can just scan it in, plop
Put
it on
your
there, and
block
go.
in
Yeah,
and then
go.
go. Okay,
You're not
alright.
worried about getting it lined up perfectly with the previous one.
All right. Well, I still have to fussy cut little bunnies for my corner blocks. But what I discovered when I was fussy cutting was, oh my, a whole new world, which is really what tonight's show's about.
Is this the turbo tip?
But I didn't do the turbo tip. No, I have a turbo tip.
Turbo tip.
I do.
Turbo tip.
This turbo
I love the
tip.
graphics.
Now, I tell people to do the turbo. Yeah, I do. I tell people to use aluminum foil to sharpen their cricket blades. Now, people go, it doesn't really work. It does too work, especially on the rotary cutter. It really does. So when I saw this in the quilting world, I went, again, duh. Why didn't I think of that?
How do you sharpen a blade with?
Well, I get about 12 layers here.
Yeah.
They say you need 8. First of all, if you have scissors, these are not my best
I was gonna say
scissors.
you're about to do something like get my hands broken for as a
No,
child.
No, this is, make sure the piece is large enough to go all the way to the end of your scissors. Now, you can't breathe new life into a decrepit pair of scissors, but let's say, they're just not as good as they used to be.
What you're saying by cutting it right now is sharpening it?
It is.
No.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. These are not fabric scissors, by the way, so let's
She
cut
just
fabric.
fell off her pedestal.
What's that? What did you
That's
say?
crazy talk.
You just fell off your pedestal.
So by snipping that, it makes them sharper.
These are not fabric scissors. Did you just see me cut fabric?
Okay,
These are my
hold on.
paper scissors. I should have cut the fabric.
Hold on,
first.
I'm gonna go
Okay.
find my
Okay, you
my
go get a
awful-
crappy pair. The trick is make sure there's enough layers and make sure it's long enough that it covers the entire blade. Otherwise, you're not sharpening the entire blade. And you just keep going and, try it out. If it's not good enough, you try it again. Nobody believes me. Somebody come up. Okay, then what else can you sharpen with your little stack of aluminum foil?
Rotary blade.
Let me see that.
No,
where you
I'm
cut.
gonna cut you in a minute.
Yeah, just a second. I want
Okay,
to.
all right, he's on the scissors.
Okay, see, that's just
That's,
awful.
okay. Wait, did everyone see that? Demo, really?
Okay, this is awful. I can just. I
Yeah,
mean,
it doesn't cut at all.
yeah, it doesn't.
It's crap.
Yeah, it's like.
But
okay.
I wanted to demo this, so, well, I guess if you,
Okay.
go ahead.
No, you
I-
should.
You'll do your crappy scissors.
I'm not buying this.
All the way, go all the way. You might have to you have to do more than one. Those are really bad. He's gonna have to buy a whole roll of aluminum foil.
I'm thinking.
Let's see if you get any difference yet.
Yeah, because we want to save this so you can show me how to do rotary cutters because I'm.
Well, no, I just wanna see if you notice any difference yet. Well, you're starting to notice a difference.
Yeah, I am.
You
I am saying, yeah.
You cut
I'm-
nothing before. Now it's cutting some.
Are you serious?
It
Brett.
is cutting easier. I can feel the difference.
I love this crap.
What's the science behind this? I don't believe this.
It's sharpening them though.
How?
Rubbing metal against metal.
Thank you. Just like if you, you know, with your knives, you go, what do you think's in that little
Knife
thing? A
sharpener,
piece of
right.
metal.
No, it's ceramic usually. Of course, these aren't the best.
That long thing that you.
Well, you're seeing some improvement, but you got a lot of cutting. You got,
Yeah.
now
I can
once
feel,
again, I wouldn't wait till they were that
Yeah.
crappy.
Well, yeah. Well,
But-
there's other issues with these scissors.
But
It's
you
supposed to
aren't
be-
cutting it all, and now at least
Yeah,
you're cutting some.
I can feel the difference in the cut. I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna-
I'm telling you. Okay, so now same thing happens with these guys. Now this one isn't. This
Yeah, I used
isn't
to-
particularly dull,
Back in
but
the
it's a
day.
little dull. Couldn't get through my salvage in one fell swoop without me pressing on it really hard. Same idea.
That doesn't make sense though,
Oh shush!
because I mean you're not even changing.
Put your
the
finger
angle.
right here.
You're not even changing the angle.
The thick, but see how thick it is.
Yeah.
So it is changing the angle
Okay.
because that's the trick. It can't be a single sheet for these deeper blades because you got to have some thickness for it to
Okay.
see as I'm cutting. I am gonna get
I'm thinking this
exaggerated.
is. I'm gonna have.
Exaggerated.
We're gonna have to like.
Okay, we're gonna have to demo, right? Okay, let me see.
There,
if I-
no, there's this awesome YouTube channel that
Nope, I
so-
still didn't get it to myself.
There's this fantastic YouTube channel called is it Project Barn, where this guy tests like crazy theories like this. Like he blows up lawnmowers trying to make them run on like
Well, I'm telling you,
bleach.
I'm not saying it will take an old blade, a really bad blade that's nicked up in anything and get it perfect. It won't. But if you're getting just a few skips,
Really.
don't throw it away yet. You know how you go, you got just a few skips?
And that usually how you put a new blade in and you drop it, and 2 seconds later you drop it on the
Well,
floor
no,
and it
if
has
you
the
nick
nick.
it, if you got a nick, then you're
Okay.
done. I'm talking about you're skipping just a little bit here and there, a thread or two, a little bit. Go ahead and give it the old 1, 2,
Okay.
and then
All right. I'm intrigued.
you're not a believer. I can
I'm
see
not
that.
quite sold on it.
I saw results.
I felt results. Yes, I'm just saying. I'm not.
You know, again, I wouldn't wait till they were that bad though.
Well,
I would do it, and it's not, instead of
But
going to the
how many-
sharpening guy, okay? It just breathes a little
How
like,
many? Can you imagine how many kids are going to get their fingers broken by their moms when they're like, "I saw this on YouTube. I'm sharpening your scissors," and she comes out, "What are you doing with my fabric scissors?" And the
the
and the kid
fabric
flies
scissors
across the
love
room.
it. Anyway, that's my turbo tip of the day.
Okay.
Take it or leave it, but I do it, and I do it with my rotary cutter for my Cricut all the time. Get more life out of it. You can put the aluminum foil right on your mat if you want, or just take the aluminum foil like that and go a couple times. It cleans it
I
up.
might take this home and like go through a roll just to see if I can bring
I
it
don't
back
think
to
it'll
life.
take a whole roll. I don't
Okay.
think it'll take a whole roll, but
That's interesting.
Is that the
I'm
heavy duty
fascinated
kind,
by
or
it.
just the regular?
Is it market?
Is it dull? Is it
right across?
mine was not heavy duty, but I bet if you use heavy duty, you would not have to make it as thick, because it's thicker to begin with, you probably wouldn't have to fold it as many times.
Maybe you could only use 8 layers instead of 12.
I hear some hesitation in.
Like I said, it's one of those.
Okay,
I think this is gonna be like an internet myth. This is gonna be like end up on MythBusters, 10 years from now. 10 years ago, there was a YouTube channel that said I could sharpen my scissors with aluminum foil.
you
And-
can. Oh, you
I'm
people
just
are so
kidding.
rough on me tonight. Here,
Oh, I love this fabric.
I know, and I'm thinking, what would be better than just Alice and bunnies?
Oh, the Wicked Witch.
That's not the wicked
This is
witch,
the
it's
Red
the Queen of
Queen.
Hearts.
Oh,
The Red
she
Queen.
looks like the Wicked Witch.
Is that the one that's supposed to be sitting on the toilet?
No, that was the other one, but that would have been a good quiz question.
Yeah, but those are, yeah.
So Brent, I was gonna have you fussy cut this as for a 7.5 block because I know you're in love with this.
I really like that snowball.
In Modern Views,
There's a snowball
there
blow.
is well, they call it chain reaction.
Yes.
Now, for you to get the chain reaction as you see here, you really, I don't know if a dark center is gonna make it happen. It will definitely look like snowballs, but the reason this looks like link chains,
Yes,
did you catch that?
I did catch
Was
that.
because of the
Now Jolene is making this, who's watching.
Contrast.
Did you catch that, Jolene?
contrast between the links and the
Yeah,
middle is what makes it look like a chain.
yes.
So you may lose that. That's my only thing by using the queen. But the reason I didn't want to use the queen is this patent called for a 7.5-inch block. And my queen doesn't want to be 7.5 inches, or I have to lose the Q. And I didn't want
You
to
don't want
lose
to
the
lose the Q?
Q. I'm going to show
You're gonna
you
lose
this
the Q?
cool way to fussy cut.
So like QAnon?
Yeah. We're going to
Wait,
do
are we allowed to
this.
talk about QAnon, or are we gonna get us kicked off YouTube?
You're gonna get kicked off. Can't mention.
You can't mention it?
Where's my big ruler? Oh, it's in this box.
See, when I think of QAnon, all I can think of is the dude there, the shaman there, and the Capitol with like no shirt and the big
Friends,
headdress.
did I borrow you my big ruler, my square ruler, my 8.5?
I don't know.
Do we have one handy?
I can go. I think I know where I can
I
get
don't know
one.
what I did with mine. I swear I brought it, but now I've got so much stuff up here I can't find anything.
I can't get to it.
Does it need to be 8.5, or can it be like 18.5?
Oh, I got it. I found
You
it.
got it. Okay.
That's why I don't jump anymore.
So are we doing? We might want to move over there more so the overhead cam can get it.
Sue's saying she picked this background fabric for the
The kitty quilt.
kitty. Oh, look at that! What a beautiful choice. And it is, it's so soft, they don't understand.
Yeah.
I thought you would miraculously know why.
Well, I can tell you one of the things is you have to understand a lot of companies.
I wanna make a nightgown.
A lot of companies, when they have their 45-inch stuff made, they
Yeah.
actually have it coated with something after the process to make it,
Oh,
to give it a little bit of starch, a little bit more body,
oh,
in the printing process. And a lot of those finishes don't happen on your 108s. The process is a little different.
all right, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't do 7.5 on her. Because, I need to be over here, don't I,
I
Eddie?
think so. Yes, right there. Look at that, right in the middle.
Am I on? Okay, perfect. This particular ruler is 8.5 by 8.5. I'm gonna show you how to fussy cut without going out and buying a whole bunch of rulers to do it. If I looked at this pattern, this one right here, we keep calling the snowball, but it's not. It's the
Chain reaction.
Chain reaction one.
Which is a fantastic Keanu Reeves movie, by the way. Old school. He's like a janitor,
Becky?
scientist
Can't
that
find it
just.
now.
Where are my sound
front,
clips?
In the front.
Have you seen it? It's fantastic. It's like old school. Like he goes to Russia because he makes a
Okay, chain
thermal
reaction.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm sorry I cut you off.
No, it's all right. My plug for chain
I'm not
reaction, Keanu
really,
Reeves.
I'm really not sorry I cut you off. If you'll notice
I can
in these
pretend, though.
books, then this is important to getting great results. You'll see she uses a grayscale diagram. That is to get you, I know some people are so nervous about picking out fabric. That really helps you pick out your fabric because what she's saying to you is fabric 1 needs to be your medium value. Fabric 2 should be your light value. Fabric 3 should be your darker value. Those are the values you want if you want it to appear as a chain. Likewise, when I did this one, you see what she's got here? Fabric 1 is my medium value. Fabric 2 is my lighter value. Fabric 3 was my deeper value.
Now
And-
there's no quilting police, so if you decide to change that,
You
it's
can, but
all
the
right.
visual effect will be
It'd
different.
be a lot different, yes.
You see how I use medium, light, and this is probably a medium anyway, but I call it my dark.
Well, it's darker than the other two, so.
But that's how I chose where to put what fabric so that visually I still had the stepping stones.
Right.
If you switch your values around, you're not going to get the stepping stone look. Doesn't mean your quilt isn't beautiful, but it affects the visual
It'll-
representation of the overall pattern.
Of what the designer originally had in mind.
Right, so that is another perk to these books that I stumbled upon, which I really liked, because I am always like this when it comes to picking fabric.
Yeah.
So I like the hints.
Have you ever thrown a quilt
Every
out?
pattern in here has this, and that's why it's
Have you ever
there.
thrown a block out? Like you make
Oh,
one up,
gosh, yes.
you make one up and you're just like, this is hideous,
Yeah.
I just throw it out.
I don't keep.
That's my turbo tip of the day. Throw it
Throw it
out.
out.
Throw it out.
Just throw it out.
Too many people want to try and make it work, throw it out.
Okay.
Or make a pot holder out of it.
Now I'm gonna, no,
No,
if
just-
it's ugly, it's ugly.
If it's ugly and it's not
So
working,
now
just get
do
rid of it.
pot holder. Okay.
I've made quotes where you get a road done and you're like, this is awful, and you just get rid of it.
Okay, so this particular block used as is, because I'm not gonna show you how to resize a pattern, although I definitely could.
That would require math.
This one calls for a 7.5 inch. So I know if I'm gonna fussy cut, I need a 7.5 inch for these big guys, all right? So when I go to use Mrs. Queen here, I look, and if I wanna keep the Q, which I did, I wanted the full Q. If I go to 7.5, I have to make a decision. See, this is 7.5.
Mhm.
I have to, if I want to keep my Q, then I'm going to have to let go of some of these swirls, whatever they are.
Squirrels.
Yeah. So, and I can make that decision because you just saw how fussy cutting still
They did.
came out really cool without the whole thing. And top wise, if I'm going to go 7.5, I have, and I want to keep my Q, I have to, well, I can do 7.5. Do you see what I'm looking at, Brent? Do you see what
Yeah,
I'm
but
looking
see,
at?
also 7.5, we have to remember is you're gonna lose a quarter inch to your seam
Right,
allowance.
and that's
So-
why I'm centering it, and I will cut off
Yeah,
either
'cause you
her
have to keep-
head, her crown, or her heart.
And if you,
Ah,
and if you're, I mean, if you're really trying,
slice that heart right off. I'd rather have
off
her
of his head,
crown.
off of her
I
head.
want the crown and I want the Q. Who needs a heart?
All I would say.
Look at that, gets rid of it. Boom.
All I would say is if you're really worried about losing something, I would knock the 1/2 inch off and look at what you're getting at on the 7-inch square, because that's really what you're gonna end up with a finish when your block is finished.
True. That make that.
Just
yes,
as
yes, so,
you're
okay.
laying it out, trying to visualize it,
Yeah.
that's a good way to knock your seam allowance off and see where that square
'Cause
comes in.
What he's doing is he's looking at the sevens.
Yeah, if you look at the
right
7s,
here.
you're gonna see,
And I'm like, no, I can't live with that.
and you're gonna lose a lot more if you look at it that way.
Yes, so what I said is, look, I would rather, and I knew, what did this one call for? The 8-inch, so it's gonna sink down to 7.5. But again, I want to show you how to fussy cut. What do you wanna make her? Do you wanna make her 7.5 or 8, cause you're cutting her?
Whatever you want. What are
I'm
we
gonna
gonna do?
show you how to
What are we
cut
gonna
her.
do with her? What are
Well,
we
you
doing with the
gotta
queen?
Well, we're either putting her
What
in
are we doing
we're-
with the queen?
We're
That's the
putting her
question.
either in this one or this one. We're putting her in one of these.
Well, which one do you want to make?
Well, I think because of the color value, I'm gonna lose my chain in that.
Okay. And I already got Jolene talked into making this one, so I'll get to see what that looks like anyway. So we
I
can
like
do
to
it.
make that one. I'll show you something else I found that I think it would look good out of it. But anyway,
So the other
let's
one's
pretend we're
so
fussy cutting her.
that
at
one's an
7.
8-inch.
That raw cut, unfinished cut is 8-inch. Yeah. And this one is 7.5.
Oh, let me take a look. Because
Let's do 7.5 because you want to do snowballs. And you know what? It just won't look like a chain reaction. That's all.
it'll look different, and then we can show everybody how different it will look.
It will look different, and it will still be cute. I bought the other fabrics
What if
for
you
it.
did it like that?
I'm not doing it.
I don't know
like
why
that.
you want to do it like
We
that.
can't do it like that. I mean, I'm trying to show
I
you
would
how to
guess-
use these
we're
books
gonna
in
do-
this pad.
We're doing 7.5.
7.5. Okay.
I have made an executive decision.
All right. So now what
I
I'm
have
looking.
spoken.
Okay. See, I'm looking at my 7.5 here, and I'm looking at my 7.5 here. Now the first one's the hardest one. After that, it gets real easy because this is
Yes, Danny, that is what she
decisions.
said.
This is decision time. I really want my Q,
She's just a
so I'm keeping my Q, okay?
Okay.
All right, and now I'm gonna come down, so we're cutting at 7.5. Oh, God.
And you want to keep her heart too?
I have to let her crown or her heart go.
Well, if we keep the Q, we know
I'm
she's the
gonna,
queen.
I'm gonna let the heart go.
Okay, let the heart go a little bit.
I'm gonna let the heart go.
Well, we have the heart under the Q anyway, so we're good.
Yeah, oh, that's true, we do, okay. So I'm looking at 7.5 over here. I'm looking at this edge here. Because remember, we're trimming it at 7.5?
Yes.
And I'm trying to get these squirrely cues semi-symmetric, but not lose my cue at 7.5. I'm gonna lose my cue.
find a pattern that has an 8.5 inch. That's how I choose what I want. for
Yes,
a
I know,
pattern.
but we're gonna go for it. We're going for it here, Brent, because I wanna
Oh,
show how to fussy
hold
cut.
on, hold on. I just realized something.
What?
You wanna go to 8. Because if we do this one at 7.5.
Yep,
Okay, you're looking here at 7.5?
yep,
What happens to the corners?
they're gonna get cut off.
Yeah, and so
Because it's snowball.
where's your cue?
Oh,
It's in the corner.
so I can't have my cue.
You don't get the cue. So we might as well go 8 if you want the cue.
Oh, that stinks.
Change patterns.
That's, all right, I'll show you another pattern that's cute for that one.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to 8, because Becky wants her cue. This is what you go through. All right, so now I'm doing 8, so I get my cue. I'm gonna get my,
Wait, why don't we do an online poll? How many people got watching?
yeah, that's true. It almost perfectly looks at 8.
And 4 of them
Look
are
at
sitting here.
this.
so-
Look at that. Look at that. It's almost perfect at 8.
Yeah,
It is.
I
It
think
was
8 is
meant,
good.
it needs to be
I
fussy
think
cut
8 is
for
perfect,
8.
yes.
It really does. Okay, so what I've done is, see my curly cues here? Curly cue, look at the 4s, the middle of 8, remember? So it's almost like right through her heart. Through her heart. Through this,
Now,
that looks good. Okay.
for those watching at home, we're going from here to this
To
line
here.
here.
This line,
We're not going to the edge of the ruler because we want to cut at 8 inches.
at 8 inches.
So when we're trying to visualize this, we're not
And then
going.
we're coming to this
Yes.
line down here.
We're not centering
This
on
is
the
an
ruler.
8.5 inch ruler.
Yeah, we're
ruler.
not centering on the ruler. We're just centering on
We just want 8
Yes.
inches. Okay, so I say to myself, that's what I want.
Yes.
But now I gotta cut how many
Get
of
what you
these?
want, Becky.
What?
You can't always get what you
I
want.
do. I do.
Me too, Becky, me too.
So, oh, I put it in here maybe? I put my
thought you told
markers
me you
somewhere.
Markers.
Oh my goodness.
Are they right here?
Oh. Remember last week I talked about washable markers?
Yes.
Wow. I had a brain bubble.
And when you told this to me, I was like, "That's genius.
Gee.
This is like next level genius. This is like
So-
Elon Musk level genius."
I am marking the top of my ruler because Becky can never remember which is part of the top,
Top,
but yeah,
yeah.
whatever.
So you wrote top.
I wrote top. And now,
T-O-P?
I did,
You could put just a T.
I could, but I wrote top because I might forget how to spell it later. The other thing I'm going to do is go, how am I gonna line this up again?
Yeah.
What am I gonna line it up with? It's all about getting a reference point, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's obvious to me, I've got a squirrely cue over
Stop.
here.
Stop.
And-
What?
Wait, are you writing on the right side of the?
Did I do that again?
Upside down.
No, I was on the right side.
Yeah, she's on the right side of the ruler. She's good.
Okay.
All right, now.
It looks backwards, it says the cue.
Oh, you guys on that television it looks backwards
Now I got
because of electronics and stuff.
But on YouTube too.
Okay, well maybe
It
they
I
does?
was confused, I thought it was upside down.
I'll
Sorry.
take it up with our producer.
Okay, thank you,
Okay,
just checking.
so I'm marking a few things. I'm like, oh, that goes there, that goes there. Oh, this heart's a good one to mark.
So you're just gonna trace around the
I'm
shape.
just I might want to say, oh, here's your kissy lips.
Do the sound
This
effects.
is my
Are those important too?
cue. I like seeing my cue right there. And as perfect as you get, this is as perfect as it's going to line up for the next one. You just pick things. Oh, eyeballs are a good one. Maybe
That is Elon Musk smart.
maybe the crown, like that. You just pick a few things and draw them on your ruler. Just draw right on your ruler.
And it's washable, so when we're done, we'll just wipe it
Oh,
off.
yeah, wipes right off after. So when we go to cut, because I know I only want an 8-incher, I'm, I'm gonna cut right
Is that
here.
what you want, Lynn? Because you get what you want.
I'm gonna cut this way, I'm gonna cut that way, right? I'm gonna lift my ruler off. Look, can you see my marks?
Yeah, I see the marks.
Maybe I do this, you can see the marks. See my ruler? It's all marked up funky.
Oh, here, put it over here.
No, don't.
Well, you couldn't
Okay,
see
now
the
I'm gonna
blue.
turn this around. Obviously, I would have cut this fabric into a smaller square to start where because I don't like all this fabric, but for today, we're dealing. Now, when this time when I put my ruler on, my top, remember my top has already been cut. Now all I'm is lining up, see, this is hard to see. Don't give me those are awful. I'm gonna get some of this out of the way so I can show you what I'm up to. Oh, look, I need my aluminum foil. Okay, now, remember this is an 8.5 ruler and I only have to cut 8 inches. So I'm lining up with that halfway mark, right? The cut I already have.
Yeah.
But your cue's not lining up.
It doesn't,
You're not lining up the ruler to this now.
Now, I'm making an 8-inch block.
Right,
I'm
yeah.
not fussy cutting anymore. I've already determined the position of my ruler. We'll do another one after. Whoops.
Now she's doing it.
Now I'm making it 8 inches. I'm taking the part of the cut that I know was good. And now I'm making an 8-inch cut. See, I need my tulip pink cutter. And what, I need my tulip
Where'd
pink.
you
Where
do
is
with
your
that
pink color?
tinfoil?
It's at home. So now what do I have? Whoop-de-doo, I got one. Now I gotta get another one.
And it's gonna get, you want one just like it.
Watch, I'm gonna yak some of this fabric off so we're not having a whole bunch of stuff to work with. These are my paper scissors, by the way. Look at that. Don't tell me aluminum foil doesn't work. Okay, let's get some of this stuff out of the way.
You're awfully defensive about that aluminum foil.
I'm gonna be making hats out of it. Now,
Now, see, do you remember back in the day?
Here's
you
my ruler.
Put aluminum foil on the television antenna so you could watch the Incredible Hulk?
watch this though. This is the magic.
I'm watching.
I got a marked top,
Yeah?
so I'm gonna put it over my queen. I'm like, I'm lining up my Q, I'm lining up my heart,
And your
I'm lining up
eyes.
my eyes.
And the kissy lips.
And the kissy lips, and my curly
Your
Q's,
crown.
and my crown. Now, that's not a good one to use. Shucks.
What?
Because it's missing something.
Yeah, but that's
I hacked off the wrong
Yeah, but
thing.
you're gonna trim that off.
Oh, I hope so. Anyway,
I mean, if you
so
don't,
now all I am is lining up my little things I drew.
Yeah, because that's the half inch you're taking off, remember?
Oh, that's true. There. Look at that.
See, if I was doing this,
And
the only other thing I'd put out as reference on here,
you want another reference mark?
those are the two sides.
Oh, that's a good.
Those are the
good.
two sides that you're cutting first.
The first two sides
Yeah,
you
so
cut.
so you know.
So you know that's
Yeah,
the
'cause
reference
you
point.
cut from the other side. That'll
That's
throw you
good.
off.
I like that. I like that. $10 GC to Brent.
Woo!
Oh,
I'm good for something.
Okay, so
Good for
there's
me.
my two reference marks, right? That I cut.
Yeah,
Isn't this cool?
it's almost too easy.
And then you can do it on any size, any block.
So she's taking the
Yeah.
1/2 inches off.
Now I'm lining up with a 1/2 inch because this is an 8.5 inch ruler and I only need an 8-inch square.
Yep.
So put it down, cut, cut.
And if you put this next to that one, it's almost identical. You got the same exact cuts.
Look how close those are.
That is fantastic.
Do you see?
Wow.
Doesn't that make it easy?
It makes it super easy.
They're more accurate.
It's so cool.
Suddenly
Now,
fussy cutting is like
now-
way easier.
well, all you gotta do is take this, somewhere I have a cloth, oh, right here. This, and because my rabbit's cut different than Alice, that gets cut different than the queen, that gets cut different than that rose I love.
Yeah.
I'm all done, I got all my queens, I'm on to my next one.
That's all there's to it.
That's all there is to it.
That is amazing.
If I were cutting a smaller square, I would probably use a smaller ruler,
Mhm.
like this, for instance. Where's my roses that I wanted to?
So you don't need to buy the fancy fussy cut square sets.
No, in fact, I tried to use somebody else's fussy cut set, and it didn't work as well. So,
The only reason I ask that is because there's some things that like people want me to order all the time for the store. Oh, buy this. We're gonna buy it. And I could never
This-
understand why anybody would buy
But
those
look,
fussy cut
I
square
just want to
sets.
show one more sample of how, because I love these
I
roses.
like my fussy cut square.
I'm just saying,
And
saying,
I'm not
you know,
sure where I would use
I've
it.
never understood them because you could just use a regular ruler.
But can you see how you
But I'm
could,
cheap like that, so I guess that's why.
if I put this on and
I like to have them all.
and then I just kind of trace my flower out the way I want it
Then you-
once.
Once, and then you can just
And
drop
then I
it.
got it, and I could just can keep. Well, I can't drop it on that one, but I could drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, drop it, and I'm done. I can fussy cut.
I like it.
I like it too, and look at how accurate.
It looks fantastic.
And now you forgot, and now if I need to remark my ruler, see, all I have to do is put it back on here, and I can draw my reference points again.
Yeah.
From between things. Okay, so, one thing I wanted to do here's some more fussy cutting that you can do with these 3 yards books.
Okay.
There's a lot of these patterns in here that lend themselves. I don't know if you have this one in stock.
No,
yet.
yes, I think we do.
Okay, I'm gonna put it down here. Eddie, can you go top? Now I want you to think about fussy cutting. Because look at these. Look at how many opportunities there are to fussy cut your fabric and take these to a new level.
I'm gonna throw something else out
They're
there,
out
actually.
there.
What the other
This
thing
one
that's
too.
nice,
Look at
when,
this one.
when you look at large blocks like this, the print a lot of times makes it up. But you can fussy cut to make, like even in here,
Yes.
you can fussy cut, make a leaf. But the other thing is, everybody's got embroidery machines. So say you want to make a John Deere quilt. People ask me
Yeah.
John Deere all the time. Instead of going out and buying licensed John Deere fabric, you can find like an 8-inch. You could like make
You
a
could put a John Deere
find
tractor
a 6.5-inch
Yeah.
pattern
Well,
John Deere.
This'll
Yeah.
lend itself great to that
Yeah,
kind of
or
thing too.
say you've got a favorite baseball team. You can use
Yeah.
your embroidery machine. It takes a little bit longer because making the blocks will run you a little bit more time. But you can make blocks with your embroidery machine and
Mhm.
get
And
very
then-
interesting.
And then place them in.
Yeah.
And it really, people need, I'm amazed at how different it made me start to look at these books. Thinking about, now I'm looking at fabric differently. Now that it's not, I used to be scared to fussy cut. Now I'm like, no, it's so easy.
But they got it
I can do
fun.
it. So one of the things that are in the store that I was yelling is just yelling for someone to fussy cut it into one of these quilts. Just yelling. Literally. Roar! Tell me that this wouldn't be the cutest little bugger fussy cut.
It would be.
These little kitty cats, right? Start to look, and now I'm telling you, I don't care. You saw, I don't care if I have.
Hey.
I'm sorry, Ed.
Oh, there you go.
I don't care if I have more than just the cat. I don't care. You saw in Alice. It looked beautiful.
Yeah.
You don't have to just have the cat. Look at these. Doesn't that need to be fussy cut?
It does.
It does. And then guess what? Here's a light. Here's a medium. And we actually picked this one out too for somebody who might be wanting to be wild and crazy. Or you could use that on your binding.
Is that a challenge quilt? Is that what you're telling me?
I think it needs to be, don't you?
Yeah.
3 yard pattern,
Yeah. Or,
fussy cut,
or fussy cut.
or just fussy
just
cut.
just a fussy cut quilt. Let's
You
what
see
it looks-
these guys fussy
yeah.
cut?
I can see those fussy cut. Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
Excellent idea.
I just
Alright.
love it.
Yeah. Somebody make it up.
It makes you start to look at things differently. But
Make
anyway.
make it up or bring it in.
to look at things differently all the time.
Well, I understand if you go to the liquor store, that happens.
Yeah.
It changes
So-
your point of view.
Challenge quilt. But are we using this fabric? This fabric?
Well, yeah, that's what
I
we
want
need
to
to
see.
know.
I want
Okay.
to see this.
Do we have rules for this, or just challenge quilt? Come make a quilt.
Come fussy. Show me this as a fussy
Yeah,
cut.
I'm
I
curious.
love
To see,
it.
I would love to see what that looks like. So if
I
somebody,
love it.
if somebody wants to make this into a fussy cut quilt, I would love to see it.
I
We
would love to
see it.
see it. I would love to see it, and you might get it quilted for free.
Yes.
Unless it's really ugly, then I don't want it.
Yeah, but that's hard because somebody bring it in, you're gonna be like, I
Yeah,
told you that,
okay.
right? When somebody
I
said
want
that's
to
it.
see this
Well,
fussy
my mom
cut.
would
I
say
think
that's
it's so cute.
interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't want an interesting quilt.
I know that. I think this. I don't care what they use with it, but I think this fussy cut.
Yeah, I would love to see
It's
those,
really an
because
awesome
you can
idea.
have some fun with that fussy cut. I really
Yeah.
think it'd be cute.
There's a lot of good little guys in there. Okay, well that's what I got.
All right,
Now let's all go fussy cut.
fussy
I got some
cut.
queens
So
to
I
cut.
got to bring us out, do I?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Right? Any questions?
No, they're pretty quiet tonight, but that's good.
I know it.
All right.
Yeah. They're sleeping.
Well, it's nice out. Probably out. Thank you for joining us this evening with Shenanigans with Brent and Becky and covering in detail the skills required to fussy cut using a ruler and washable marker. Hopefully you will join us again next week here at Four Pines Quilting.